Hello, everybody. My name is Rick van Bruggen from Neo Technology, and here we are recording another podcast session. Today, we have a really interesting guest all the way from Borås in Sweden, and it's one of our developers on the Neo4j engineering team. It's Oskar Hane. Hi, Oskar.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, good to have you on the podcast. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. Oskar, one of the reasons I was really excited to get you on the podcast was because, Neo4j has this wonderful front end tool that I use a lot. Everyone uses it a lot, called the Neo4j browser. And I think you're one of the guys behind that, aren't you?
Yeah, since about 1.5 years, I've been on that UX team, we're called internally.
Okay. So how did you get to Neo? Who are you? Where did you come from? How did you get to Neo?
Yeah, well, actually, a quite funny story, I think. I was browsing Twitter 2 years ago, and I think that one of the guys I was following retweeted something from a guy called Emil Ephraim, said that.
Who is that guy?
Yeah, by then I didn't know about Neo at all, and he said that we're looking for Java developers, and I was a freelance contractor by then, and I was just out of a long contract, so I was looking for new opportunities, and so I sent him a tweet and said, don't you have any openings for JavaScript, because I'm not a Java guy. And he was like, I think we do actually. Talk to Magnus, another guy inside Neo, and we set up interviews. So I think I actually had like 7 or 8 interviews before I joined in August that year.
Had you used Neo4j before, or did you know about the product before, or how did you know about it?
No, I didn't. But of course, when I talked to Magnus the first time, before I talked to Magnus, I downloaded and started using it. I was actually blown away by the user interface of the client, or the Neo4j browser that we call it. Compared to, I've been working with MySQL and other databases, and their user interface
is a little bit more old-fashioned, right?
Yeah, so I was completely blown away and thinking, wow, I'd really like to work on this product. And I managed to get in.
And the rest is history, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays it's you and 1 or 2 other people that work on that part of Neo4j, right?
Currently we're 2. The other guy, Mark Peace, sits in the London office, and in 2 weeks, another person is joining us. So it'll be great to have the 3 of us.
So what do you think is so cool about Neo4j in general, but maybe the browser more specifically? Why do you think it's such a cool product to work on? What makes it so nice?
It's so. As you were talking a little bit, that it's modern in a way compared to MySQL, and it's the browser is you can visualize the data in a way that you are not able to visualize in a relational database, because here in Neo4j or graph databases we have fixed relationships between nodes.
Yes, yeah. The graph data model, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So we have this graph visualization in the Neo4j browser where we can run animations and have gravity and a physics engine to display the data in a nice way.
Absolutely. I think one of the cool things about the browser, for me as a user, is that it combines so many nice perspectives, right? On the one hand, it's a visualization tool. On the other hand, it's a query troubleshooting tool. On the other hand, I have a learning tool. There's so many nice things coming together. I think. I'm assuming that was intentional.
Yeah, of course. It's a sort of a platform for for the target audience was from the beginning at least for developers who were writing apps for the Neo4j database. Then they can use this Neo4j browser to, as you say, they can see the data in many different ways. We can troubleshoot if we have any query problems. We can just run ad hoc queries to get interesting stuff, and you can learn the query language Cypher within the browser. Yeah.
So I have a off the cuff type of question for you. What's your favorite feature, if you have any? What do you, or it's probably the most recent one, but what is one of your the nicest thing about the browser?
Wow, that's really a hard question. Well, even though it could be limited in how big graph you can view it at once, but I think the visualization is actually my favorite, because that brings in an element that other database clients that don't have, that makes us unique.
Yeah, very much so. And my personal probably is the fact that you have this rolling history. That you have this long page of query histories that you can sort of go through. I don't know if you've ever seen one of my graph karaoke's, but that's what I use all the time.
Yeah, I have that actually. I have seen a karaoke. They're awesome.
I'm a fan of your work, Oskar. I really am.
Thanks.
So maybe one more thing, if you don't mind. Where is this going? What's the future hold? Both from the product in general, the browser more specifically, and maybe the industry that we work in. Any comments on that?
Well, I can talk for the browser, at least, that I think we're talking about having it extensible in a way that somehow that you can write like front-end plugins maybe for the browser and load them in an easy way as a user. I very much like to see that, at least. That if you want to visualize your data in a special way, maybe your own row or table format that only you use, you could create a front-end plugin, so to speak, and just have it that way.
Okay, so like an extension, but then part of the browser, so to speak, right?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. We're moving some of the content out of the browser so you can bring it back in. So it's we're heading in that way.
You also mentioned to me earlier that for future versions of Neo4j, the browser is not going to be like part of the same package as Neo4j. Is that also something that's coming up then?
Well, maybe. I'm not 100% sure where we are at the decisions yet, but what we've done is that at least we have moved the files, the repository for the browser out of the Neo4j main database, but we're still having it as a dependency. So when you download Neo4j, you get the browser inside it, just as you do now.
Okay.
But the code isn't mixed with the database code anymore.
It's easier to pull it out if we want or need to do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, very cool. What about like visualization in general? There's so much stuff happening in that domain, right? Graph visualization, it's a very hot topic, I think.
Yeah.
How do you look at that?
Yeah, it is, and it's very hard to. It's super hard to show visualization that are huge, which has thousands of elements and relationships within it. So yeah, I'm very very impressed by by many of the acting guys in the industry.
Yeah, it very quickly becomes like a hairball, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it can hog your web browser as
Oh,
well,
totally. Yeah. But there's
especially.
some really cool visualization tools out there, right? Like that we've been partnering with externally. So hopefully that complementarity should help us.
Yeah, definitely. We're a small team, and I think our visualization is good for some use cases, but maybe not for some.
Totally. Well, very good. We'll wrap up the recording here, if you don't mind. We like to keep these podcasts short and snappy. So thank you so much for coming online, Oskar. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And I
thanks.
look forward to seeing you maybe at Graph Connect Europe or some other occasion very soon.
Yeah, I'll definitely be at Graph Connect Europe.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Bye.